Welcome, everyone. We will allow 1 minute for everyone to join. So we will start soon the webinar, but welcome. In the meantime, you are welcome to use the chat and please say hello in your native language and let us know what organizations do you come from. So we will start in a minute. So people are still joining, but we don't want to waste more time. So thank you and welcome to our webinar on understanding external donor audits. My name is Eni Kövas and I'm the Content and Communication Manager at Local Link Hub, and I will be today's host of the events. For those who are joining now, please use the chat in the meantime to say hello in your native language and to let us know what organization are you coming from. What is Local Link Hub? For those who don't know, Local Link Hub is the localization platform of Terre, and we are hosting practical e-learnings tailored for local and national NGOs. We also offer communication support for the national NGOs. The site is available in English, French, Albanian, Hungarian, Nepali, and starting from next year, we will have Arabic as well. Local Link Hub is the localization and partnership platform of Terre, and we are hosting a lot of e-learnings that are tailored to the needs of local organizations. So I will share in the chat the link to the e-learning. Please feel free to go there and explore your own e-learnings as well. So let's go today's webinar is also based on an e-learning. This e-learning is Financial Foundations for National NGOs Practical Training Series, and it has one module that is donor audits. We just agreed with Sara that this module will be refreshed hopefully soon, so stay tuned for a new module on donor audits. Let me just quickly recap the housekeeping rules for this webinar. The duration, well, we want to have 90 minutes, but we will see how it goes. The language of the webinar is English. The subtitles can be translated in French. You need to click on Show Captions at the bottom of the screen, and you can choose your own language from there. The microphones and the cameras are switched off during the webinar. Please, for the questions, ask the questions in the chat regarding the presentation, but also please use the Q&A section, because in the Q&A section, we can follow more easily the questions you are putting. So please use the Q&A section for this one. As probably you know, this session is being recorded, and we will share with you after the webinar the recording, the slides, and all the materials that are here. Okay, so let's speak about the topic of today's webinar. So the topic is understanding external donor audit. And Sara has prepared a really interactive webinar with a lot of polls, some quizzes as well. And the session is designed to help our partners understand what an audit is, why donors ask for it, and how we can work together to make the process smooth and stress-free. I will stop sharing my screen now so Sara can share her screen, but I want to let you know that Sara is Terre des Hommes donor audit specialist, and she has many years of experience in finance and audits in humanitarian organizations. She has worked in several countries during emergencies such as Colombia, Haiti, Mauritania, Nepal, Sierra Leone, and the Middle East. Since 2024, she has been the donor audit specialist at TDH. Her strong analysis skills and audit knowledge helps teams improve transparency and follow donor rules. So, Sara, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Nico. So, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining today. Thank you also for giving me the opportunity to present this topic today, because I know that sometimes audit it can be a little bit stressful or complex for you. But my objective today is to do the audits practical and simple for your daily work. So the session will be interactive, so I invite you to participate. So let's start today. The topics that we are going to talk first, we are going to start with what is one audit and why the donors require the audits. Then we will see the audit process, including also the different roles and the different documents that one auditor can ask. Later, we will focus in the main findings and risks that there is in the audit. And the last things, we will conclude with some practical tips to help you to avoid these findings. So, before we start, I just a quick question, just to understand your experience, is just if you have ever participated in one audit before. Yes, no, or not sure. So it's there are the three answers. So Nico, you can launch the pool.
Yes, it's launched.
Okay. So I think we can finish, no, the pool.
Yes, I'm finishing it.
Okay, and we will share the results.
Yes.
Okay, so there is 50%, half of the that yes, you have participated, and the other almost half that they have never ever participated in one audit. Okay, so that's perfect for the session today because there is a mix. And okay, I have another question for you. It's just to write in the chat in one word. What do you think when you hear audits? What's the word that come to your mind when you hear audit? You can write in the chat. Okay, control, financial analysis, track records, proper documentations, filling. Okay, there are a lot of words that's the topics that we are going to speak today. Revision of financial documents. Okay, more words. Compliance and accountability. Accountability, review financial documents, checking documents, eligibility, documents analysis, answer following the procedure and policies, inspection, financial review. Okay, any word more? No? Okay. No, so it's very interesting review expense. Okay, it's very interesting for me to read for you eligibility. What do you think about the audits? Because there are a lot of subjects that you are speaking that we are going to speak today. Accountability. Mhm. Okay. Okay, so thank you for your participation. So we will start with the presentation. So we will start. The first things, it's what it's one external donor audit, no? So the first thing is that one external donor audit, it's one independent review that normally is requested by a donor to check whether the funds has been used according to the agreement. So, as you say, also the audit they will focus especially in the compliance with the donor rules and regulations. To do this, they will verify all the documentation, they will verify the financial recording, and also our procedures. Also, they will look at in our internal controls to check if we have the proper systems that are working properly, no? So finally, as you say, the external donor audit, in simple terms, it's about compliance, transparency, and accountability. So why audits? Why the donors requires the audits? So the first things is mainly to ensure the accountability, because the majority of the organizations normally will receive public funds. So finally, we have the responsibility to demonstrate how these funds has been used. No, it's transparency. Also, because the audits helps to identify the risk and to check if we have the systems in place. And also, it's very important that the audits is a way to build trust and transparency between the donors and the implementing partners. So finally, the audits, they will protect both donors and organizations. So very important point is that audits are often perceived as something negative, but in reality, the audit is a routine requirements that it doesn't mean that something went wrong. It's not a punishment, and this is very important point that definitely the audit is not only for finance. So finally, the audit involves all the departments. And the audits are designed to improve and to help our system, no? So, as I say, the audits involve a lot of departments. So each department will play a role in the audit. The first role is the focal point. Normally, for one audit has to be always a focal point. Normally, it's the finance persons, but depend of the different organizations, because some organizations they can have the position of compliance that also they can have the role of the focal point, no? So this person will coordinate all the audit. Is the person that normally they will ensure that all the different departments provide all the documents that the auditors are requesting, and also it will be the person that communicate always with the auditor. At the same time, it's very important to understand that while many people are involved, the director it remains the final accountable for the audit. Later, there are different contributors. So we have the logistic department, the project manager, we have the mill, we have the HR, and also I put an others because in some organizations also it can be sometimes in some audits we need also the contribution of the communication or of the grants. So each department contributes to the audit by providing the necessary documentation and all the information. So finally, overall, the audit is like a shared responsibility with a focal point that coordinates and with the last accountable that it will be the director. So auditors will request documents from all departments. So here I list the main documentation that it's sure that one auditor will ask. The first thing I start with HR. Normally they will ask always for the contracts and amendment of the staff, job descriptions and payroll that including the pay slip and the timesheets, and also the recruitment and the staff records, including the screening. Also, we have the logistic and the procurement. They will ask for all the procurement documentation, tenders, contracts, also the supplier screening and the assets inventory. For finance, it will be the transaction list, invoice, receipts, proof of payment, bank statements and reconciliations, financial reports and budget. The program and operations, they will ask for the project contract and amendment and the program reports, and also the evidence of activities, training, distributions, etc. No? So finally, the program operation, normally the person has to demonstrate that the activities were implemented as planned. So these are the main types of documents that the auditors will request. So as you can see, each department is responsible for their own documentation. It's very important that each department has the complete and accessible documentation. Having the well-organized files reduce audit time and a lot of stress, no? So it's very important that a good documentation make audits finally much easier. So now that I'm speaking about the documentation, I would like to explain you a concept that it's the audit trail. What it means, the audit trail? The audit trail, it's the full chain of documents that prove one expense. So it means the full evidence of a transaction from the beginning until the end. So the first thing is that we need the contract or the purchase order, we need the invoice, we need the payment proof, and we need the supporting evidence. If one of these elements is missing in the audit, so it will be ineligible and it will be a risk. So finally, the audit trail demonstrates that the expense is real, it's approved, it's properly paid, and also that it's linked to the project activities. So most audit issues, we think that they are because of fraud case, but finally, the most audit issues are due to incomplete audit trail, no? So it's a very important part, this. Now we are moving to the audit life cycle. So the audit life cycle, it's divided into three main phases: before the audit, during the audit, and after audit. So everybody thinks that the audit is only when we receive the visit of the auditors in our office, but finally all the work of the audit, the majority of the work of one audit, it's always done before and after. So now we are going to see phase by phase, and we are going to see different steps that we can use in each stage. So before audit, the first thing is that we are going to receive the audit notification. Normally, it comes from the auditors, or even it comes the notification sometimes from the donors. We will receive the notification and also the terms of reference. Normally, in this notification and in these terms of reference, they will say what is the project that they will audit and also the deadlines. So at the moment that we receive this notification, we start the internal coordination in the team. So first thing is to do the audit chronogram with the different steps that we have for one audit and also with the different deadlines. Also, we need to start to prepare all the documentation. So one tips here is that this chronogram has to be shared with all the team. So by this way, everybody knows what are the things that they have to do and what are the deadlines. Also, you need, as I said before, it's very important always to choose one audit focal point, who will be the person that coordinate the audit. Also archive, review all the documentation and to put all the archive accessible, easy. If the auditors will ask for one document, that I can find this document easily. And the last point is the coordination and communication. No, so the first thing is, as I say, it's to coordinate. So it's to organize a meeting with all the stakeholders that are involved in the audit. So to assign the responsibilities and to plan internally, no? This phase it's very, very important because finally a good preparation reduces stress and prevent later many issues. So when we have finished to prepare all the documentation and the coordination, the auditors will visit our office. So the audit start, the field work start. So the auditors, they will review all the documentation. Also, they will interview, sometimes they will interview some staff. And in this stage, it's very important to clarify all the points and all the questions that the auditor has. So the tips in this stage is that it's a good practice to send one email before the audit arrivals to all the staff, so everybody knows that the auditors will visit our office during some days. Also, it's important to introduce the auditors to key staff in case that they want to do some interviews with the key staff. Also, to provide to the auditors with a small workspace that they can work. Always answer with facts and documents and not with assumptions. So it's very important to be honest with the auditors. And if there are some gray areas that it's not very clear, please organize meeting, okay, with them. So just answer with, clarify all the questions that they have and present all the evidence that you have. When they have finished the audit fieldwork, they will organize, the auditors, they will organize a closing meeting. So in this closing meeting, they will present all the issues that they have found during the audit. So it's very important in this audit closed meeting to align key points with the auditors. So it's the last opportunity that we have to clarify everything, because the next step, it will be the draft audit report. So they will issue the draft audit report with all the findings that they have found in the audit. And it's at this moment that we have the opportunity to respond, explain, or propose corrective actions. So when we have done this, the auditors, they will issue the final report. This final report, normally the auditors will share directly with the donors. So when the final report is issued, the audit, this is very important point, it's not finished because we need to follow up the recommendations of the audit. So that's very important point because in the future, the donors and the auditors will ask for this follow-up, no? So, and we need to present the action plan that we did. So the first thing that we need to do is to review and to prioritize all the findings that we have and to define one action plan per finding. This action plan has to be a responsibility and you need to put a deadline. Also, it's very important to monitor the implementation. So the objective is not only to correct the issue, but also to prevent it from happening again. So each audit finding always must lead to a concrete improvement. The audit's findings, you don't have to see the audit finding as something negative or wrong, no? Because finally, the audit findings you should see as opportunities to improve system and to improve our controls, no? And that's it in relation with the different phase. And now I would like just to explain you a little bit this final report, no? What are the things that we can find in the final report? So the first thing is the audit opinion. Not all the audit reports will express the opinion. It depends of the term or reference, but some they will express the opinion. So there are three types of opinion. The first is unqualified, that it means that everything is clean and there is no major issues. The second is that it's qualified, that there are some more serious issues and we have some recommendations to follow up. And the third one is adverse and disclaimer, that there are serious issues. So which types of issues we can find in a report? So the first one is observation, that it is one minor issue and there is no financial impact. The second issue is the finding that is a more serious weakness and or there is a no compliance with something, needs a corrective action, and also we need to follow up the recommendation. And the last thing is ineligible, no? This is when the expense is not accepted by the donor, and there is a financial impact. So normally when there is a financial impact and it's ineligible for the donor, for the auditor, is because of three different reasons. The first is because the expense is no compliance with the donor rules. The second is because it's missing some documentation. As I explained before, is this audit trial, some of these elements that it's missing. And the third, it's because the expense is not linked to the project activities, no? So these are the three reasons because one expense can be ineligible. So now I will do a quick exercise with you. It's a quiz. You need to try to think like one auditor, no? So I will put four questions and you need to answer if it's ineligible, if it's a recommendation, or if it's no issue, okay? So I will start with the first one. It's the invoice is available and signed, but there is no proof of payment. So what is it? It's no issue, recommendation, or ineligible cost. Okay, this is the first one. Later I will check the answer. So I will read first the four questions. Okay. The second, it's timesheet exists but are filed after several months. Recommendation ineligible on no issue. Okay. Third question, it's a full expense record but no logbook available. Recommendation ineligible on no issue. And the last one is that there is a delay in the report submission. Recommendation ineligible or no issue. Okay, so I will let you 1 minute just to answer to the four questions. Okay, I think everybody has put the answer. Okay, I will wait more seconds. Okay, so Nico, I think we can finish the quiz
Okay,
and we
I
can
ended
send.
the poll. Yes, I'm sharing the results now.
Okay. So the first question, it was the invoice is available and signed, but and there is no proof of payment. If it's no issue, recommendation on eligible expense, ineligible cost, the majority, 60%, they put ineligible cost, 32 recommendations, and 9% no issue. So yes, the correct answer is ineligible cost. So yes, it's ineligible cost. Why? Because it's missing as I say before, in the one audit trial, we need all the elements from the beginning. For one expense, we need to prove all the steps from the beginning until the end. So in this case, it's missing the proof of payment. So the auditors, they don't know if finally this expense has been paid, has been done or no. They don't have the proof that this expense has been done, no? So they will put this expense as ineligible. The second is the times it exists, but they are filled after several months. So recommendation 43%, ineligible 52, and no issue 5%. Yeah. So the correct answer it will be recommendation. Normally because we have the evidence, but we have the evidence that this person has worked for the project, but the problem is that they have filled several months later, no? So normally they will put a finding and there will be a recommendation. And in the next audit, they will see if the timesheets are on time or they are not on time. So we need to follow up this recommendation. The third one is the fuel expense record but not look available. 15% recommendation, 70 ineligible, and no issue 15. So it will be ineligible because they don't have the proof that the fuel has been used, no? So I have only the invoice about the fuel, but later I cannot prove how the fuel has been used. So for then it will be ineligible because we don't know where we know that there is one expense of fuel, but know if has been used or no. So always we need to prove that the fuel has been used with a logbook. And the last one, it will be delay in report submission. So we present the report, the final report, but late. Okay, so 77% it was a recommendation, 9% ineligible, and 14 no issues. So yes, the correct answer is recommendation, no? Because we present the final report, but late. So the same thing as the timesheet. So there will be a finding and there will be a recommendation that we need to follow up. And for the next audit, we cannot repeat the same finding. So, okay, stop sharing. Now, also, now that we are speaking about the findings, also, I would like to ask you also some questions. Okay. So, what do you think are the most common findings? So, this is just you need to answer in the chat. What do you think is that's it, the finding most repeated? You can answer directly in the chat. Receipt related. But there are another findings. What do you think? We will see now what are the most common findings, but just what do you think? Deadlines, weakness, non-compliance. A ver, writing on invoice. Non-compliance with procurement procedure. Okay. Lack of documentation. Prior approvals. Incomplete records. Unsupported transactions. Recovery notice. Segregation of duties. Delay payments to the vendor, suppliers, incomplete voucher, documentation of one expense. Final audit report, support documents. Support documents, okay, it's the same. Exchange rate. Also support documents, okay. Okay. Anything else? Inadequate supporting documents. Mhm. Okay. Yeah, fraud or serious issue or incomplete documents. Mhm. So now we are going to see what are the most common findings. There are several findings that you have mentioned that are also in my presentation. So, so we will start with what are the main findings that normally there is in one audit, and later we are going to see how we can avoid these findings. No. So the first thing, as you have written in the chat, it's the missing documentation, as this the same thing that I explained before, no? The audit trail. In the audit trail, if it's missing one element, no? So the main finding always is because it's missing all the proof of payment, or because it's missing the contract, or the invoice, or one quotation of a procurement purchase, is because it's missing in general the documentation. That's the first thing. The second is procurement issues, because we have in the organizations we have our procurement procedure, and sometimes we don't follow our internal procurement procedure. The other is the budget deviation, for example, expense that are not approved in the budget, or budget line that has a set without a prior approval of the donor. Also, the HR and the timesheet issues, it's most common findings. Findings related with the payroll. Also, there are a lot of times that, for example, we have the contracts with the staff with a salary, and the salary of this contract doesn't match later with the pay slip and with the payroll. Also, there are a lot of issues because for example, the insurance or the security social is not well calculated. And also, especially a lot of issues with the timesheet. The timesheet is always mandatory, okay, for the audits. So sometimes we can find a timesheet that we allocate a percentage of a person to a donor, that it's not the same thing, that the same percentage in the accountancy, no? Or timesheets that are not signed by the staff, or that are not signed by the supervisor, or directly that we don't have any timesheet. The other things also that you have mentioned in the chat, it's the weak segregation of duties. Normally, the best practice for one expense has to be approved by three different persons, no? The first person is the person that will request the service, or they will ask to do the expense. The second signature, it will be the person that will approve this expense. And the third one, it's the person that is the person that will pay, or that they will record the transaction in the accountancy, no? So that's the best practice for the segregation of duties. Another common issues is that informal practice that they are not documented. The travel policy, staff allowance. For example, when somebody will travel and we give a per diem, when one audit comes, we need to prove why we did a per diem to this person, where is written that we have to give a per diem, no? So we need everything well written and documented, okay? If we are going to do some bonus to all the staff, or I don't know, we will pay the transport, why? We need to prove that it's written in our internal staff regulations, in the contract, or in some special document that the director has approved. So always everything has to be documented. And incorrect donor allocation, This is also a common finding that sometimes there are the procurement file, for example, that it's allocated to another donor, or the timesheet that it's allocated to also to the incorrect donor. VAT issues. For several donors, the VAT is not eligible, no? So this is also a common finding that if we are going, if there is VAT in the report, sometimes if it's not ineligible for the donor, it will be ineligible. The costs and the costs that are not clearly linked to the project, no? Things that they are not in the budget or activities that they were not planned in the working plan. And the last issue is the inconsistent or incorrect information, the dates that are not matching, different amount in documents, the invoice is written one amount and the procurement procedure it's another amount, mistakes in the accountancy. So these are the most common issues. And now this is the practical tips that I give you to avoid these findings. So the first is start right from the beginning. So it's very important that from the beginning you need to read all the contract, okay? So you need to read all the contracts and to check what are the rules, what are the requirements of the donor in relation with flexibility rules in relation with the budget, what are the rules with the procurement, the screening, also the fraud allegation, if we need to communicate these fraud allegations to the donor. So the reports, how many reports I have to do. It's very important to check everything, read everything, and to organize a quick-off meeting with all the staff at the beginning of the contract and to share all this information with the staff. So many audit issues actually come from misunderstanding and at this stage, no? So we can avoid this. The second thing is you need to do reconciliations regularly. The normal is to do reconciliations monthly. It's very important to do monthly a budget follow-up to check that we have not spent more, and also to do some checks. Like for example, if the percentage that it's allocated in the timesheet is the same thing that it's allocated in the accountancy. So we can prevent now and we can fix and not at the last moment before the auditor's arrival because it's too late, okay? The third thing is the document as you go. So please don't wait. You need to save all the invoice, all the approvals, and also all the mails from the donors that you have. Otherwise, things get lost and it becomes very difficult during the audit. No, so it's very important always save everything. The fourth thing is to build a clear audit trail. So each transaction should be easy to follow from start to finish for somebody who has not involved in the project. Okay, that's very important because if one auditor cannot understand it quickly, finally it will become a problem. So it's important to do all the audit trail. The next, it's check the consistency across records. So ensure documents, accounting, and reports match. No, so it means, for example, if in the NAR you need to communicate between the different departments, because, for example, if in the report, in the narrative report, it's written that we have done distribution kits, and for example, there is nothing in the budget, so there is a problem. The Other thing is keep everything in one place. So this is very important. You need to use a shared and a structured folder. We need to avoid documents that has been archived in different locations. No, all the documentation has to be in one place and it has to be easy to find it. If the auditor is asking for some documentation, I know where I can find this documentation. And the last thing is just clarify who does what, no? Who will approve, who will check, and who will file all the documents, no? By this way, we are going to avoid gaps and duplication. So, just to finish and to conclude, so if there are only 5 points that I would like you to remember from that presentation are the following. The first one for me is that if it's not documented, as I say, it doesn't exist. So everything always has to be documented. The second thing is the compliance is not negotiable. So always we need to read the contract and to be compliance. Third thing, stay organized also with archive. It has to be always audit ready. Fourth thing, audit starts every day. So for me, the audit it's a daily work and it's not when the auditors arrive, no? So it's each day one that we need to do the checks, to save the documentation, and not at the last moment. And just the last thing is that you need to keep everything because audits can happen anytime. No, you know that there are some audits that are written in our contract when it will be the audit, but there are others that they are like a audit surprise audit, no? And even they can do the audits 5 years later. So always keep everything. And that's all from my side. So now I don't know if you have questions or discussions.
Thank you, Sarah. It was the webinar, it was informative for me as a communication specialist, for sure. Now I understand, for instance, why all the policies are needed. So you need to have a paper, so you need to have the documentation even for everything, for the non-formal practices as well. So that now you know the all the policies that we have now are much better understandable for me. We have two questions in the Q&A section, but please, if you if you have more questions, put them there. I will read these questions to you. So the first question is from Ibrahim Ashharva. Thank you for the question. And can the donor recover or withhold funds based on audit results? When does this actually happen? So can the donor recover or withhold these funds, Sarah? What do you think?
I try to read the question. It's at the beginning.
It's you know, it's in the Q&A section. If you
Ah,
go to more, you can click there. There is a Q&A with a question mark. And Ibrahim is asking, can the donor recover or withhold the funds based on audit results? What is your experience?
sorry. Okay, Q&A. Recover with space on audit results. Yes, of course. Yeah. So normally that's it. When the final report of when the final report of the auditor is finished, this final report it will share with the donor, no? So the auditor they will give their opinion. They will say, for me, this is ineligible because of this, and this. And now, okay, it doesn't mean that we need to pay these funds. This is the opinion of the auditor. So the auditor will send the report to the donor, and it's the donor that they will take a decision. So the donor, they will say, okay, I agree with the auditor, or no, I'm not agree, okay? If they are agree with the auditor, they will send you one notification, and they will say, they're saying that, okay, according to the last audit report, we find this, and this, and you need to refund this money. Normally, to be honest, I think the majority of the donors are agree with the auditors. So I have never found a situation that the donors say, no, I not agree with the auditor, no? So normally that is because of this that the final report of the auditor is very important because it will be normally also the opinion of the donor. The audits takes a lot of time, okay? From the beginning until the end, it can be maybe 1 year, no? So because they will issue the final report, they will send to the donor will read, they will take a decision. So it can be several months, maybe you have forgotten about this audit, and several months later you will find a request of the donor asking for the funds, no? So yes.
Okay. We have more questions from Rugil. Sorry, I cannot read out your last name. But the question is, what criteria must be met for an activity to be classified as an audit versus simply assessment?
No, there is no classify. There is no any. I don't know if I understood well. There is nothing that is classified. That if we receive the audit notification, I don't know that one project of I don't know shelter, for example, a project of the shelter will be audit, and all the activities of this project will be audit. Okay, so depends a little bit of the terms of reference. There are some audits that they will just check some expense, and there are another audits that they will check, as I say, also our risk and our control procedures, and also our activities as we have implemented the activities as it was in the work plan, no? So that's it.
Super. Oscar is asking us, is it logical if audit recommends that misappropriated expenses be recovered from staff concerned, especially if the case is serial? Do you have experience in this, Sarah?
I don't understand very well the question. If audit recommends that misappropriated expense be recovered from a staff concern, what it means exactly?
So yeah, I think this means that if somebody, let's name it, stole or so used some funds inappropriately, and the audit asks these funds back, uh, how
If it's directly
if
the staff that this needs
it,
to
yeah, it is logical
reform.
that this is a recommendation from the audit. So
No, so if yeah, no, if we have one report with a fraud case, this is the third opinion that I give. So it's a serious issues, and they will start to open maybe one investigation, no? And of course, if it is ineligible because there has been a fraud case, we need to pay to pay the ineligible expense. Normally, the auditors will not enter in the detail who will pay, no? So this is something internal of the organizations, but the only thing that they will ask is for the funds. But if the auditor will find a fraud case in the report, it's a serious issue, and they will start another more serious investigation.
Okay, I saw Oscar had his hand raised, but he lowered his hand, so he probably we answered his question, right? Um, Krish has a question, and to be honest, I don't understand the question. Probably Sarah,
The
this is
qualify
something
work is really
technical.
nice, another thing. But qualify is not good one audit report. Why? Yeah. It's in the in the rules of the audit, no? So it's the word. I'm not I have not choose the word. So it's like unqualified that it's everything it's clean and everything it's good. Qualified that there are some issues and disclaimer that there are serious issues as the fraud, no? So yes, maybe yeah, qualify word, yeah, maybe it's not the best, but it's by this by the it's put by this by the auditors by the audits rules.
Yeah, they
All the
they choose
auditors
the
in the
word.
wall, they will use the same word: unqualified, qualify, and disclaimer.
Okay, so this is the syntax that they are choosing, the auditors themselves. So it's a terminology specific for the audit process.
Mhm.
Okay, super. Now I learned something as well. Thank you. From Faisal Al Sabri, we have another question. How can the external audit process strike a balance between the donor's strict compliance requirements and the operational realities faced by partners on the ground, especially regarding risk sharing and supporting localization rather than transferring the entire risk burden to a national partner? Very interesting question.
Mhm. Mhm. Mm. Yeah. How can the external audit process a balance between the donor? Mm. Yeah, it's a very good question. Yeah.
We would like to know that as well,
That's it. I don't
probably.
know if I have the answer, no? So the thing that I know that there are some, and now the donors are more and more restricted with the things, no? So the advice that I can give you it's capacity building, no? Capacity building to the national partners to explain all the different rules that as I say that it has been clear for everybody from the beginning what are the rules that we need for this for this for this and also because sometimes maybe if we spend more, I don't know, if we spend more than they allow in the budget or things like this, or that sometimes we need to change the activities. So it's maybe it will be not ineligible, but it's communicate. For me, it's communicate to the donor and to keep this communication, okay, to archive this documentation, to inform to the donor to say, mira, finally we are not going to follow this because of this, and we need the permission to do this. So maybe we'll say you no, but maybe say yes, but at least it's documented, no? So always for me it's document everything, ask permission, communicate with the donor. Always communicate with the donor and to do capacity buildings and explain that it has been clear for everybody from the beginning everything that is written in the contract. Yeah, but it's a good question.
Yeah, and we know this is just a drop in the ocean, but webinars like this are also designed to support and strengthen the local partners and to support their audit process, which is one of the many tasks local partners face and they need to solve. We
Mm.
have another question from Perseta Ristani. How AI is impacting the external and internal audits?
A lot. Yeah, because now the work it will be quickly. It will be quickly, I think, and more precise, no, more accurate, no. So now I think with the IA, the auditors they have more tools to verify everything, but also for us, it's good to put the documentation and to check, for example, if we have some that sometimes something that is not matching or some incorrect things, some that IA can help you, no? And for the auditors, it's the same. It's more the AI is more like a tool that they can use to help and to facilitate the work.
Yeah. In the chat, Faisal asked previously, and I don't know, Sarah, if you have the answer to this, what are the modern standards about the internal audit? So are there some standards, modern standards regarding the internal audits in place or not?
Model standards.
Modern, meaning like, I will, okay, if we
What
go to the chat, it's
what are the modern standard about internal audit? This different thing, because one thing is the external donor audit. No, this presentation it was about the external donor audit, and another thing is the internal audit that we have in our organization. No, and if there is one standard, yes, of course, there are the internal standard rules of audit that we need to apply for the internal audit. But I don't know if it's this the question.
uh, Faisal, this is what you meant. If you can answer in the chat,
How
please,
can
if
the
you are still
external audit
here.
process doing?
Do you have more questions for Sarah? This is the time, the opportunity to ask a seasoned specialist. I was wondering how often you encounter audits, Sarah. Every project is audited, or
Yeah.
how does this happen? So that's the general rule. There is
Yes, now I have seen. I think now there are more audits than before. So when we are going to sign a contract with a donor, there are different donors that, for example, there are some donors that the audit it's mandatory, no? And normally, when we present the final report, 3 months later or 6 months later, we need also to present the audit report. And this is some donors that this is written in the contract, no? And there are another donors like OCHA, UNICEF, ECHO, no? That the audit it's not mandatory, but it can happen inside of 5 years, no?
mm,
So you have finished the project, you have done the report, everything is finished, and maybe 5 years later, you will receive one letter from ECHO and the European Union that notify that you will do one audit in the following next month. So it's not mandatory, but normally happens a lot now. There are a lot of donors at European Union and also UN.
mm,
OCHA, for example, that almost all the contracts are audited, even if it's not mandatory in the contract.
mm. It's really
Mm.
interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, I don't see any new questions, but if you have questions, you can send me and at the email what was mentioned in the chat, and we will make sure that Sarah answers them. I have coming to the end of our webinar. I have a poll for you to fill in. This is a poll that we are usually using to better design our webinars. So please fill out this short poll. I wanted to tell you some words about our next webinar. So in the summer, we will take a break, no webinars in the summer. But in September, we will come back with a communication webinar, the small NGOs, big stories, how to create content that works. And Isabel has been then, content strategist also from TDH, from Lausanne. She will be our presenter, speaker, and she will share easy tips, real examples, and step-by-step guidances on what makes a good story, how to prepare and conduct a simple interview. She will share tips how to shape a story and how to share your content online with confidence. And as you already guessed, the webinar is also based on an e-learning that we have on Local Link Hub. It's on building strong communication, a guide for local NGOs. And if we are mentioning the communication e-learning, I need to tell you that we have a new module for this e-learning, one on the fake news, on NGO settings. So go and check out this e-learning as well. We will share the recording of the webinar with you. We will share the presentation slides. And also we will send you all the important and useful links to our resources. Let me just check. Okay, so I think that a lot of you have answered the questions for the poll, so I will end this one. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Sara, for being available and presenting this really interesting webinar on audit. Sorry, I'm just at the end, I forgot what is the webinar about. Sorry. And thank you all for being here. And as I mentioned, we will share the link to this recording and the slides as well. Take care and have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Bye.